Good evening, Rara. How are you?
Oh, I am on time. I'm good. How are you?
I am doing awesome. It's
That's
great
good.
to be live with you again.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to be here with our friends and our StreamYard duck up above. I
Yep.
really missed being here. So let me ask you a question.
Mm.
What's our topic for tonight?
Be you, be impactful.
We can do that. We can definitely do that. Did anything happen today that would qualify as impactful for you?
Absolutely. I had at the office, I had a new person come in, and that's just one thing. Second thing was we are have some signups for our live in-person event this weekend, which I'm really, really looking forward to working with these people.
Yeah, me too. That's impactful too, to know that your timing, everything is in the right place at the right time. I think that
Hmm.
makes so much sense. People talk to me about things and it's just sometimes it's like, I'm busy, or really should I think about that? Is that important? But when things are aligned, there's really an easy conversation, easy flow, and impact is about receiving and giving
Mm,
in equal fashion, not this like push pull. I don't like to pull away from someone who has something to offer. I like to hear what it is so I can place it later on somewhere.
right.
I don't like to shut people down. So what was impactful to me today was obviously being aligned with our clients and our
Mm,
audience. But it was impactful for me to see that there are so many people that care about what we care about, speaking and imaging, messaging, and they really want to be of service to their audience.
right.
And that really is impactful for me because I love watching and listening to someone who cares about what they're doing and who's real.
It's uh, it's interesting the timing of the way things show up. Um, you actually sent me a link from a learning platform with a link to a course that was something that I've been, that we've been talking about for a long time, and avatars and unique selling propositions and target audience and all that sort of thing was included in that. So we're all, that was very impactful as well. The fact that it's giving us even more tools, more ways to think about things, more metaphors to share with our audience so that we can help them reach their audience more impactfully as well.
Because what's nice about, I'll talk about like
Mhm.
fast food places just to say, what's nice about when people open up businesses next to other like businesses
Mm,
geographically, it's because they know that there are more people. When I see other creators and content creators out there doing what we're doing, I'm so excited because then we're not the only ones out there talking about the value of writing good content and
exactly.
the value of being heard and speaking to your audience. Like some people are worried that they're going to turn people off, or maybe they're not going to like what you say, but we're not chocolate. Not everybody's going to like
Hey, there's the people who like vanilla. There's people who like strawberry. That's what Neapolitan ice cream is for.
that for everybody.
Although usually you find it with all the chocolate scooped out, maybe some of the vanilla, and maybe a tiny bit of the strawberry.
Yeah, somebody just takes it out, and then there's me who passes up on the ice cream thing altogether.
That's, there's some really nice alternatives out there. There's some of those coconut ice creams are quite good, and they're not too high in sugar and stuff. So
Yeah, we make some of these things ourselves too,
mhm.
just because at least we know what's in it.
Right, and then you can even, like you said, make your own. I'll take some frozen bananas
Mm.
and mix that in with a little bit of like fresh yogurt or something, or kefir, and then stick it back in the freezer, and along with some cut up fruit and everything, and stick it back in the freezer, and then it's like ice. Let it solidify a little bit, and it's like eating ice cream.
Well, that reminds me of somebody writing content, making
Mm,
something themselves, making their own nice scream is the recipe that we have. That's what they call it, nice scream. Pardon me,
Nice.
so I just plug in so I don't lose any power. So when I think about people creating things for themselves and making it for themselves, sometimes it's homemade, DIY, do it yourself.
Mm,
When it comes to contents creating and being impactful, we need to be ourselves. We need to take the information that's in our mind and we need to create what we feel is the right message. And then you go and you take you and I, for example, there are wonderful people out there in our industry. It's a beautiful industry to be in.
mm.
You go out there and you take us and let us get into your content. I won't say get into your head, as in
It could be it could be a dangerous place,
let us get into your content and let us be the backbone of your content. Boom,
right?
boom. And then let us give your voice the tone that you want your audience to hear. And that's what I'm really excited about because we have an ear for that. It's sort of like we have this musical note ability when it comes to what people are saying to their audience, and we can hear what they want to say and we
Right.
can sort of name it in, 3 notes.
Yeah. So speaking of 3 notes, I think we could share with our audience tonight 3 specific tips for that are, a way to be more impactful, 3 ways to be more impactful. And one of those things and all 3 of these things are things that we're going to be included in what we're teaching or
Mhm.
sharing this Saturday, working with people with. And that gets me really excited because one of the things that we're going to share with people is about developing their avatar. And you might be sitting there thinking, oh, avatar, unique selling proposition. I've heard it all before. I've seen it, blah, blah, blah. And you might have. And we have our own unique spin on this as well. And we're going to share our spin on it with you. And we're going to dive a little deeper than some of the things you might normally have seen about an avatar. Yes, demographics is important, age, etc., where they live, how much money they make, but there's other even more important things that we can look at with an avatar, such as where does your ideal avatar meet? What social platforms are they on? And when we get to know these things about our avatar, then we can start to craft our message more deeply. Because if we don't know these things starting out, all the marketing is going to be hit or miss. It's going to be like taking a shotgun, that scattergun approach. You might be lucky and hit something, but why not be more precise and hit the target that you're aiming at?
Could you imagine being a professional target shooter and closing your eyes and saying, "This is my shot"? If you only have one shot, make it a good one. You brought up a good point. What if our avatar for this conversation is someone who is of a particular age, has a particular
Mm,
income, and then we're speaking to a general public and we're not really hitting the message to that person. It's not landing right. So when we know those details, when people come to us to buy things, they have to speak our language. And if
right.
their language doesn't suit us, then we know it's probably not for us. And I think it's important to understand that every word matters. The words you say and the words that you don't say. Sometimes too much is just going to take the wrong turn.
Yeah, I agree. And not only what you're saying, but how you're saying it.
Hmm.
The energy that you put behind the words, the emotion that you put into your languaging, the body language that you use. Are you flying all over the place, or can you be more precise with even your body language so that you're demonstrating where somebody's coming from and where you're going to take them to? How do you do that? And these are some of the things that we're going to share with you. Do you want to share one of the second points, or
I just want to
add on to that?
elaborate one more thing about that, because sometimes we're in person and sometimes we're online.
Mm,
So when we're in person, we have proximity, whether it's a stage or we're right in front of someone, and we
right.
can read them and feel them. And if you're online, tuning into that person, that avatar, it's sort of a bridge and a half away, right? You're
Mm,
not right there. So to really warm those people up to know who they are, to hang out with them. That's important. So if you're online, the job is not as easy, I would say, if you're not really aware and tuned in.
Right. It definitely takes a different level of connection and engagement. What I always like to say is when we're online, we probably need to go to, say, 125 or 130% energy as what we would be doing in a room when we're there in person, because the camera flattens everything. It flattens your energy. It flattens the messages you're trying to get across. So you actually have to put way more energy into it, almost be over the top. And we see this all the time on YouTube videos. You might think, oh, that person's being way over the top. And maybe they've gone to 150% and need to dial it back down a little bit to 130 or 125%. But they're still doing it from within their own energy, they're being themselves. They're just amping it up. They're just turning up the volume. Like they said in Spinal Tap, it goes up to 11.
So when you're listening to us and you're like, I know what to do, I do that. It's all based on bottom line.
Right.
Bottom line conversions. So let's you bring up the second point and I'll elaborate with you.
So the second point that I wanted to share was about conversions. How do you know that what you're saying is getting through and leading to more money? You could be getting lots of impressions on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever social media platform you're using. But that's just an impression. That may mean some people just ran by it in their feed and stopped on it for 1 or 2 seconds. But are they clicking through? Are you connecting with your avatar?
When are you doing things so that they can find you? If it's a recording, if it's live, and they can catch it. The thing that you just made me think about is I think about Chris Do. I'm a huge Chris Do fan. Hashtag Chris Do.
You don't even have to hashtag him. Just say it right out there. Chris Do, the future. Follow him.
Everything. Yeah. Follow him, and listen. And when you find someone that you like, listen to them. You would be surprised at how many people were live with us and didn't hear some of the things that we said because they were listening to what we said 30 seconds ago, and then we said something else, and they were really enthralled in that and missed the next thing. So sometimes there's this thing called a pregnant pause. And that could help your conversions. The less you say, the more impact you make.
And the more money you make.
Yeah, I mean,
you got to add that part in, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And because...
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, no, go ahead. Finish your point. Yep.
No, I was going to say, and we'll give a third, because conversions and money, this is something we can talk about for a really long time, because some people say, well, I have conversions. Well, what do you consider a conversion? Is a conversion the next step? Is that the next step? It depends on what your call to action is.
Right.
So if we were going to be clear about a conversion from something, we would say the next step is go to the call to action, click here, sign up for a free discovery call. Go here, sign up for this class. Right. Go here, at 12 o'clock, the price is going to go away. One more person, and then the price is going to change. Call to action. Be really clear on what you want your audience to do, and tell them what you told them, and tell them again, because they may be listening to what you said 2 minutes ago and not listening to what you're saying at the moment.
Right. Be, as you said, be concise with your calls to action. If you're asking people to do 3 or 4 different things, they're not going to do anything, or they may do the thing that you least want them to do, or the least critical thing that it is that you need them to do, or that they need to do, because you're just flooding them with too much information. We see this, and we've worked with many clients many times, seeing where they meet somebody new, a prospect, and what do? Yeah, they either choke them, or choke the prospect, because they're fire hosing them with information. They're trying to tell them every single thing that they do in the first 30 seconds.
Oh, I love what you said. Imagine you're in your garden and you're watering your flowers.
Exactly.
Do you spray them, or do you put it on full force and water them till they fall down and go, oh, okay, good. Now you have enough water. See you in an hour. when we think about our information, if we sprinkle our information based on the delicacy of the person, because they may be delicate and you might be coming on in a way that they're going to
Yeah.
walk away. So I love that. I love that analogy about, really like hosing people with information. Think about, how do you feel when people come at you? And maybe that causes you to pause and not take action because you don't like the way it feels. So find a happy medium, because if you're a
Right.
content creator, if you have courses, and I wanted to talk about that next, if you have
Yeah.
courses, then you're going to somehow have to reach people, and then they're going to be online if it's an online course.
Right.
And if it's an in-person course like we have as well, face to face, I'm so happy to get back to those. Then you have the value of being in front of someone is, if I'll go out on a limb and say it's tenfold,
Yeah.
because you've got people's people's breath and their energy right in front of you. When you have a course, and let's see if we can talk about that. Everybody wants a course, just like I want a course, just hand it to me. There's work involved in that.
Oh yeah.
There's the thought. So let's say we're going to give a course on how to turn on my iPhone. Sure. How hard could it be? Let's show you how to turn it off and turn it on. I guarantee you that very simple step of turning it on and turning it off. Turn it off. Pretty simple. Wait. How difficult could it be to teach someone how to turn it on? Make sure you're touching the same two buttons and wait. Everybody goes about that differently. Not everybody does it the same way. And then it doesn't do what we want it to do. So there are simple steps that we teach people, and yet it doesn't really go the way we want.
And this isn't that like life? Nothing always, sorry, that's not true. Often things don't go the way we expect. Look how long it's taken, right, to turn it off and turn it back on, because it has to complete the process of turning off completely, kind of resets itself, and then it starts the process of turning itself back on. And it's a process. Steps have to happen in a certain order in order to get to the result that you're looking for.
And on off.
That's on and off. And that's just one little thing of turning a phone on and off and on. So there are certain steps that you need to follow in order to really connect with your client. And it's not likely going to happen the very first time you meet somebody. Now, if they've been following you on social media, following your information, they've had some interaction with you online, it might. Chances are, though, you're still going to have to do some follow-up with them to engage them even more. So that leads me to the third point that I wanted to share tonight. And that was this. Many of us think that we make decisions in a logical way from the logical part of our brain. Research has shown that is absolutely not the case. We make decisions from a deeper, older, ancient place of our brain called the amygdala. And that's the area that works on emotion, fight or flight, stress, fear, survival, and all the automatic operating system parts of our nervous system, how we breathe, our heart regulates our heart rate, our breath rate, all of these things. So one of the best ways that we can connect with people is by helping them to feel something in relation to the problem that they have in order to help them get to a solution. If we just try to present it logically without arousing any feeling one way or the other about the problem and the solution and how they can get there, you're probably not going to get very far with them.
Imagine the food industry.
Oh my gosh.
How that would work. I'd like to point out, when you're on a live, why you want to watch the time. Because the goal is to have someone watch your live all the way to the end.
Right.
So, sometimes you see people doing things and you're like, wow, they're live 24/7. How does that happen? How does that work? Or how long is it going to take? When you're doing a live stream, if your audience can stay till the end, it's going to help your
analytics.
Yeah, thank you. Analytics. I was going to say algorithms. It's going to help your analytics. So we have a lot that we want to say, and we can come back and we can give you a longer live. based on the conversations that we're having. I think it would be really great to, have this one watched in completion and then take some questions.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay, good. Me too. I have a lot more to say, but I think 26 minutes is good. Our audience hung out with us for this long, right?
All right.
Well, plus the timer.
So if you would like to figure out how to have more impact with your audience, join us this Saturday, July 22nd in Niagara-on-the-Lake. We're fairly central, so you could be coming from Detroit, Cleveland, Buffalo, upstate New York, upstate Pennsylvania, southwestern Ontario, the Toronto area, wherever you might be watching this from, you could come and be with us. We have a partial and a complete program set up for you on Saturday. The link is scrolling across the bottom there, b-u.network/BU Impact. It's also in the description for the video as well, so you can just click on it there and go on over to that sign up page and join us on Saturday.
You'll not only be between two Sicilians and have a nice lunch at a nice restaurant, you'll have a nice social media kit to take home with you.
Yes, you're actually going to take something home with you that you accomplished during the day that you can start using that day even.
You can use
it in your yeah.
And not to get on the scale after lunch. You can use it to scale.
Getting on the scale after lunch at a farm-to-table Italian restaurant might not be the best idea.
No, but show up hungry.
Yes, exactly. All right, cool. So that's it for tonight. Questions, comments, throw them down below in the comments, and we will read them and we will answer your questions. So
see you in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
See you in Niagara-on-the-Lake on Saturday.
Ciao.
Ciao, babies.